I think I just love being mid-30s so much because I really hated my 20s. Honestly, I think it's the worst age you could ever be in your 20s. You know, sometimes, like, you'll meet someone and you're like, oh, what's wrong with them? And then they're like, I'm 24. And you're like, that's it.
Please welcome Chris Parker.
Hi, everyone. Oh, my gosh. And I stand by it. Yeah. I stand by it.
Why? What's so wrong with being 24?
Oh, it's just a hard age, you know. You have to really put yourself out there, and you don't know who you are, and you got to run around and knock over road cones and jump and touch signs and all that energy. And I just was never cut out for that because I'm a bit of a scaredy cat, and you got to put yourself out there and hook up with all the wrong people every night, which actually I did a bit of. I was hooking up with a lot of women in my 20s, which was wrong for me actually. Yeah. So
what's the best age to be then?
Mid-30s. I think mid-30s is the best age ever. Oh, yeah, it's so fun. And I think it's the age I make the most sense at as well. I think it's the age I've always supposed to have been because, Mum would always be like, go outside and, play with all the kids. And I'd be like, why? When I could stay inside and, listen to the mums talk about who they think should have a divorce.
Yeah.
I've just always wanted, a charcuterie platter. Ever since... ever since I was a young boy, it's always been that. And I love sitting back and throwing back a wine and a gossip in the sun. Yeah, it's the best age. And you know what you're doing with your hair. You're like, OK, bangs, not for me. You do bangs when you're 20s and then you figure it out. And you've got, a bit of money to do it.
Should have started with the hair. I would have got your point if you'd started there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You don't like a charcuterie platter?
I don't love charcuterie.
Exactly, come on.
Yeah, depends
and
what's
you're
on
mid-30s.
No, well,
thank you, that's very kind of you.
He's mid-40s, so it just ends up like that. That is what they're doing here. Mate, being a fellow comedian,
yes.
I know what it's like to promote a show, and it's always so hard online because you want to be funny, but you don't want to be begging people. And I feel like...
There's always a desperation in the eyes where you're like, this tickets are selling really fast. And obviously not. You can sort of see the twitch beginning to happen.
But, mate, you found a loophole. I love this. Can we just look at this clip now?
Hello, it's me, your manager, voice noting you under duress because we both know that you've been ignoring me even though I've been asking you to do the video for 25 for 25. And I know you're ignoring me because you want me to send you a voice note, which I have to do now, don't I? Book tickets to Chris Parker, so I have to stop doing these voice notes, please, everyone. Thank you.
She's going to be so mad. And they just played on TV. That's so good. Yeah, look, my relationship with my manager is turning toxic, but she keeps sending me these voice memos to be like, you need to promote the show. And I was like, well, I'm just going to use these voice memos and dance to them. And it's honestly worked a treat.
Perfection. We just got a little sample of your dance moves. I went to your show a couple of weeks ago. It doesn't start with jokes. It starts with some pretty amazing moves. But, for a substantial amount of time.
I know.
When did this start?
I started last year because you'd always have to stand backstage before the show, and it's only a couple of metres to the right. But how I would feel would be drastically different because you'd be so nervous behind the curtain. And I was like, and the audience knows I'm behind the curtain. So I was like, what if I just wait on stage while the audience come in and just sort of vibe to the pre-show music, which has now resulted in me really turning it out before the show, which works in Melbourne because it's, only a certain amount of people. It's maybe 10 to 15 minutes of dancing. I do the show in New Zealand to, not to brag, but quite a few more people. Maybe over 1,000. And it takes a lot longer for them to come into the theatre. And I have found myself dancing for about 45 minutes before the show. I am absolutely wrecked. I'm so tired. And then I have to do another hour show.
Well, no shade, but do you wish you were 24 when you're puffed out trying to do the show?
You're right, Susie, I do. I take it all back. I want to be 24 again. Put me back in the closet.
You can be dancing with women in traffic cones. It's amazing.
Within the show that you kind of talk about embracing cringe. Why are you lobbying for that? And I say that as someone whose middle name may be Cringe.
Oh, wow. Beautiful name there. I just have an accent on the E or something.
Does,
Cringe. I think... Honestly, it's a bit dramatic, but I do think cringe is the tool of the oppressor. I get into it into the show, but I think, it's the way our enemies want to get us because we give up on ourselves. So you just you can't help what you fall in love with, And I think in a time like this, it's just you've really got to back your loves and back your passions. And I put myself out there. One of my biggest passions in this life is fingerless gloves. I think they look so cool. And everyone mocks you because they're like, oh, why are your fingertips hot? copper, your hands are copper, whatever. I think you look bad. You know, you look like, you know, robber. You know, who's willing to risk it all by having their fingertips exposed. Like, it's cool.
Kind of criminal chic is what you're
I can
after.
feel people switching off as I talk about that.
That's a good point, so we'll wrap it up. Chris's show, Stop Being So Dramatic, has a couple of nights left in Melbourne before it heads right around the country. Ticket details are on our website. Would you please thank Chris Parker?